What's up, everyone? Thanks for coming in and joining on today's recap of episode 9 of The Traitors, which aired last night. I'll give you a few minutes to get in. I got my social media posts out there. The one thing that I did want to mention, if you saw yesterday's live in regards to recapping episodes 1 to 6 of Love is Blind, you'll notice my t-shirts are similar, same color, same concept, which is vote in 2024. Yesterday's was Randy Watson. Please tell me you know who Randy Watson is, right? Sexual chocolate! Yes, that would be Randy Watson. Today, Jack Bauer, 2024. I'm going to need a hacksaw. Now, how many of you know which episode and which season of 24 that line came from? And the reasoning Jack Bauer said, I'm going to need a hacksaw. I know, a little bit tough. Unless you're a 24 diehard, you probably don't remember the line or the episode. I certainly do. And do you know what he needed the hacksaw for? Not just when he said it and what season. What did he need the hacksaw for? There is a scratch and sniff sticker and a lollipop in it for you if you know the answer to that. So by all means, put it in the comments section. And I'm curious if anybody knows. Obviously, you could Google this. It's very simple. But let's be honest here. In the Reality Steve live YouTube show. No need to lie. It's okay. So episode 9, we'll just get going. No guests this week because I think it's going to be a little bit of a shorter show. And the reason it's going to be a shorter show is because I feel like I think a lot of people feel this Traitor season is over. Like, is there anybody that actually thinks that Rob isn't winning this? Who is beating him? We are down to, after the murder at the beginning of next episode, whether it's Natalie, Johnny, Tara, or Kristen, whoever it is, we're going to be down to 7 people. Of those 7 people left, not one of them, I don't think, has ever even uttered Rob's name all season long. I mean, he would have to have a royal fuck up to not win this thing, right? Right? Like, there's no way. There's no way he doesn't win this thing. I'm sorry. I need to look at something here real quick. Is this live? Going on my... Yeah. Okay. So, I guess anything can happen. There's still a couple episodes left, but there's just no way he doesn't win this thing. Now, the question becomes, does he win it solo or does he win it with Eric? So we'll get into it. Let's just jump into the episode right now. And that is, the episode started how last episode ended, which is Eric showing up and Rob revealing him to be the traitor, himself to be the traitor, and Eric freaking out and saying, man, you've done a great job. Basically confirming what I just said. Nobody suspects Rob at all, which is also a little bit bizarre to me, and I'll tell you why. And Rob says to him, you have an ultimatum. Either you join me or you get murdered here right now. I mean, is that really much of an ultimatum? I don't think Eric's going to get this far in the game and just be like, yeah, I want to go home. Murder me. Of course he was going to accept. That's why these ultimatums, we talked about it last week as well, they're not as big of a deal as the show makes them out to be. But he tells Eric, I'm fully confident we're going to win this game. Now, I understand he has to say that to him because I don't know if Eric is convinced of that. But he says that to him and it gets you thinking, I don't know. Maybe Rob is interested in winning this game with Eric. I can't imagine why he would be. Look, Rob's already got 2 million followers on Instagram. He doesn't, whether he wins $250,000 or $125,000, I don't really think it's changing his life. This guy is already doing well for himself on Instagram, I'm sure. Brand deals. I could absolutely also see Rob on next season of Dancing with the Stars. So keep that in mind. But he tells Eric, we got to murder somebody tonight. It's either going to be Dorinda, Steven, or Natalie. And they end up murdering Dorinda, which, again, Dorinda basically does nothing all game. She was never involved in any drama. I didn't really see her speak too much at the roundtables. And then here she is at Final 9 or Final 10 just getting clipped for no reason, really. It's just they have to murder somebody. So as much as people say this game is so much strategy and how can you keep secrets, I see some of these murders and I just say that's just pure not being lucky. Dorinda had really no reason to be murdered. Like, I still don't know why they haven't murdered Natalie, knowing that she is very strategic, very well-spoken. What did Dorinda do? Now, I understand that Dorinda, their reasoning was probably because it might throw people off, because people would be like, why the hell did they vote Dorinda off? And maybe that's why they did it. But to me, it just goes to show how much luck is involved in this game. You can strategize all you want. Dorinda did nothing wrong to be murdered. But they have to murder somebody. So it ended up being Dorinda. So now we got 9 people left. 5 men and 4 women. And then after the breakfast, Steven is talking to people. He thinks it's Johnny. And then everyone else seems to think it's Steven. Natalie, Maura, Rob, they're throwing out Steven's name. And Johnny also thinks it's Steven's name, which is weird to me because we talked about this last week. Once they got rid of Candace, we already knew that Lisa Rinna was eliminated as a traitor last week or the week before, or whatever it was. She was gone. Candace and Lisa are gone. Donna Kelsey selected at random at the beginning of the game, even though they were chosen that the traitor thing was going to be in her box there. There have been 3 traitors, excuse me, that have been eliminated from this game, right? All of them women. And yet here these people are still thinking that a 4th traitor is going to be a woman. Like, at no point are they thinking that it's going to be a man that's left? I don't know. I mean, again, maybe that's why. I mean, that's why they're saying Steven. So I do see that. I do see that they're saying, okay, Steven. Yes, thank God. Finally, someone is throwing out a man's name. So they're going after Steven or Johnny. But again, here we are, this deep into the show, 9 episodes, and no one's even close to pinning Rob as a traitor. This is getting ridiculous. So the other conversation we see is Tara and Kristen sitting next to each other. And Tara's like, yeah, as you can tell, I'm not very good at this game. I really haven't clocked anybody all season long, but I think it's Steven. And she probably says that because Johnny thinks it's Steven. And Kristen's like, well, you know what? Being real here, I think it's you. Which I don't even know if Kristen actually believes that. Maybe she just said it to see if she could get some sort of reaction out of Tara. But Tara thinks it's Steven, and Kristen thinks it's Tara. So the mission happens. And on the mission, I thought it was a good mission, although it probably didn't play out like producers thought it would. The strategy by Rob and Eric was smart. You saw the mission. Everyone gets in a big, giant Jack-in-the-Box. Jack-in-the-Box tacos. Everybody gets in a big, giant Jack-in-the-Box. Alan asks a question. The 2 traitors, Rob and Eric, have to come out of their box, talk, determine what their answer is going to be, get back in their box, and then everybody gives their answers as to who they think the traitors answered the questions as, and every right answer gets $500. Well, Rob and Eric decide we're just going to give the same person for every answer because we don't want to give any leads to anything, which is smart strategically, but it doesn't help the rest of the faithfuls in gathering any sort of information about anything, right? But here's the thing. I think the show, and I don't know this is just my opinion based on how reality TV editing works and whatnot, but something tells me there wasn't any way the other 7 people in the boxes could ever hear who was getting out of their box, nor could they ever hear Rob and Eric talking. They showed camera footage inside the box of these people like listening, putting their ear up against the box, hoping they can hear something. My guess is those boxes were completely soundproof. And the only evidence I have to back that up is after that challenge ended, I didn't hear one person ever say, hey, when I was in my box, Rob was next to my box, and I swore I heard his box open and close. Nobody ever brought it up ever after that. So I get the show wanted to make you think, oh my God, these guys are going to have to, in plain sight, or not even sight because they're in a box, in plain sound, they could be giving themselves away, getting in and out of their box and whatever. I'm just venturing to guess that those boxes were soundproof, and there's no way that anybody else in the other boxes would even come close to hearing who got out of those boxes or be able to hear Rob and Eric discussing who they were going to answer every time. But after the first question, they basically just said, let's just put Tara down for every answer. And when you saw what the questions were, who do the traitors think is the most useful to them? Who is the most manipulative, doesn't deserve to be in the final, and who would make the best traitor? And they just put Tara down for every answer. So nobody could even gain anything. Yet the other faithfuls who are playing such a terrible game to begin with didn't even clock the fact until the last question that, hey, the traitors are putting Tara down for every answer. No shit, Sherlock. So on the last question, they all put Tara down, except for Johnny and Tara, who actually voted thinking that they were really trying to answer the question, even though all of them had discussed, hey, everybody, just put Tara's name down. We'll get as much money in the pot as we can. So they only ended up getting like $5,500 out of a possible $80,000. They were so bad. So yeah, it was basically 9 answers at $500 a pop for 4 questions. I thought he said 80,000. How would it have been 80,000 if all 9 people on all 4 questions got the right answer and put Tara down? That's only, maybe he said 18,000, right? Because it would be 4,500 for each round, and 4,500 times 4 is 18,000. I thought he said 80. My bad. Okay. So 18,000 was available, and they got 5,500. Not very good. But again, the prizes on the show and the money value for missions means absolutely nothing. There weren't shields up for this, and Rob and Eric had to choose the 4 people up for murder that night. And they chose Johnny, Tara, Kristen, and Natalie. So Johnny and Tara are like, one of us is going home. There's no way we're lasting. They're all suspecting me. They're all suspecting you. They suspect one of us. So Johnny and Tara basically just decide, we're just going to come out with our friendship. Everybody knows that we're friends, but we're just going to lay it all on the table because one of us is going home tonight. There's no way we're lasting. And I don't know if that was strategic. I want to say it was, because if it was strategic, I think it would have been a smart move for them. But I don't think they're smart enough based on watching them play this game that was done strategically. I just think they wanted to play the game as friends for the last 11 years and just wanted everybody to know it, even though people had suspected like, hey, these two know each other. But I didn't think the round table was all that riveting. Steven goes home by a vote of 5-2 to 2. Johnny got 2 votes, and Tara got 2 votes. And I think what was interesting is, so you have 4 people now up for murder. Steven goes home. We're down to 8. 4 people are up for murder, for Rob and Eric to murder. They know they have Johnny, Tara, Natalie, or Kristen. Well, Johnny and Tara have come out as a team now, right? And both of them think that one of them is going home. And at last night's roundtable, each of them got 2 votes. So I'm just thinking out loud here, even though I thought about this before the podcast. How about this? If you're Rob and Eric, why would you murder Johnny or Tara? They both got 2 votes this roundtable. Both of them think, everybody in the house thinks one of them is covering for the other. They might not know which one is a traitor, but they think one of them is covering for the other. So don't you want to keep them around? Because if they got 2 votes each this roundtable, you would think at the next roundtable, people are either voting for Johnny or Tara. So if I'm Rob or Eric, there's no way I'm putting Johnny or Tara down, or there's no way I'm murdering them at the beginning of next episode. Now, the other thing that happened after the roundtable was Kristen approached Eric and said, "Why were you so quiet at the roundtable?" And Eric kind of fumbled over his words. We know he's not going to be a good traitor because he seems like too nice of a guy. And Kristen is now starting to suspect Eric. She calls him out on it. And then she's specifically sitting in a room with Rob and Mark. And she's like, "Hey, I called Eric out, didn't really like his answers. He seems to be like so confused. He's stumbling around his words." She goes, "Just know, if I'm murdered tonight, look at Eric." Okay. So now, assuming they don't eliminate Johnny and murder Johnny or Tara, which they shouldn't, it makes no sense for them to do that right now, since they're the only two other people that received votes at last night's roundtable. Well, now Kristen has laid out there, if I'm gone, if I'm the one that's murdered, go look at Eric. So why would Rob and Eric murder Kristen? Wouldn't you want to keep her around? Because Kristen is suspecting Eric, and she's suspecting, and she has told one other person. Now, all they did was show us her telling one other person, which was Mark in the room with Rob. Doesn't necessarily mean that she didn't say it to others, but we only see her telling one other person. I mean, she told Rob, but it doesn't matter she told Rob because Rob knows that Eric's a traitor. But we're assuming as an audience, this is the first time Mark has heard the words, it's possibly Eric as a traitor. So if you keep Kristen around, doesn't that ease her suspicion about it being Eric? I think their only option here is to murder Natalie. She's well-spoken, she's strategic, good game player. But for all the reasons I just laid out, makes no sense to murder Johnny or Tara. People are onto them. And Kristen has already called out Eric. So you have to keep Kristen at least through the next murder. I think Natalie's got to be the one to go. Now, Rob did say something in the turret when he went there with Eric, when they were going over their 4 options. And he basically said, look, if we keep Kristen, you have to do a good job of convincing her you're a faithful. So that would be the only way. I still think they're taking a chance because I don't know how good Eric is going to be at trying to convince Kristen that he's a faithful. Does it look like he's very good at being a traitor? Do you think he's doing a good job already in one day of acting as a traitor? I don't think so, because Kristen's already on to him. I mean, she just said, if I'm murdered, look at Eric. Okay. Well, if she's murdered, Mark's going to think he's going to remember what Kristen just said. So Eric will have to go to Mark and convince Mark, hey, I'm a faithful. I just don't know how good of a job he can do of that. I'm not convinced that Eric is a good game player just yet. Maybe he'll surprise me. So now there's only 7 people left after the next murder happens, whoever it is, Johnny, Tara, Natalie, or Kristen. I do think it should be Natalie. I think it should be a no-brainer that it's Natalie based on what we were shown last night. But what's interesting is you hear all these people, you hear Johnny and Tara who have been clueless all game and haven't been able to clock anybody who's been a traitor. There is 7 people left in the game. How can anyone in this game ever say, oh, he's not a traitor, I trust them the most? There's 7 people left. And clearly a traitor is still left in the game. If you are saying there's no way anyone, if you're not a traitor, so there's 6 other people to choose from, If you're saying there's no way that person is a traitor, then you're not a good game player. And frankly, you suck. And now we know there's two. Like, I just can't believe that people this late in the game. It's very easy to say that when there's 16, 17, 18 people left in the game. It's very easy to think, oh, they're not a traitor. You're down to 7. And if you think about it, there probably is 2 traitors. If you're faithful, you're thinking they got to be 2 left, right? And you're sitting here and immediately ruling somebody out. It is just unbelievable to me. It's why I wrote in my tweet and my Instagram post, this is the Rob Roush Invitational right now. It's his game. He's just letting everybody play it. How in the world does he not win? I'd be stunned if he doesn't win this game. Right? He's destroying everybody. And it's not even funny. The only question now becomes, does Rob take Eric with him? Does he want to actually win the game with Eric, or does he want to stab him like he did Lisa and Candace? I don't know. Either way, he's either going to be the solo winner or he's going to win this game with Eric. It almost feels too easy at this point. And sometimes when it looks too easy, maybe it is, and maybe that's not the way it plays out. But holy crap. Come on now. This is so ridiculous how easy this game is going for him. We're going to be down to 7 people after the murder at the beginning of the next episode, and not one of those people has mentioned Rob as a possible traitor. I think all season long. Maybe there might have been an episode earlier where someone threw out his name for like one segment. But outside of Candace's vote at the round table for Rob, has anybody written Rob's name down at the round table? I don't think so. If it was, I don't remember it. I don't think so. Thinking about it right now, I don't think he's ever been even remotely been pointed at as, hey, watch out for this guy. What if, has anybody even said, what if it is Rob? Not even throwing it out there saying, you know what? I've seen some things and things kind of point towards Rob. I know nobody has said that, but nobody has even said, hey, you know what? What if it is Rob? Nobody's even questioned it. Like, he's been the best traitor we've ever seen in the history of this game, at least in the 4 U.S. seasons. I just think this thing is so far gone, yet I see the ratings for this, and it's up like over 30% over last year's numbers, the amount of minutes that the Traitors has been watched on Peacock this season. It's amazing to me because there's one person who's dominating the game, and there's a bunch of faithfuls who aren't very good at playing this game. I mean, I like Mark Ballas. I like him on Dance with the Stars. He seems clueless. They're all thinking it's Johnny. So all these people left, throwing out Johnny's name or Steven's name. They were all wrong, clearly, on Steven. I didn't really hear anybody. I didn't really believe their lines about why they thought Steven was a traitor. It wasn't very compelling evidence to me. And sitting at that round table with 8 people left, nobody is suspecting Rob. And he is just blowing doors on everybody in this game. It's kind of funny at this point because now I'm just like, can this guy make it to the end where the only time he was even considered as a traitor was Candace's throwaway vote as she was trying to basically send a signal to everybody else because Rob voted for her? Because I believe that's his only vote he's gotten at the round table, if I'm not mistaken. Is it possible this guy's going to go the whole show and get 1 vote? And that 1 vote was actually by someone who knew he was a traitor? It's certainly heading that way. Again, there's a couple episodes left. Maybe Rob has a giant screw up. Maybe he slips in something he says. Maybe Eric comes out of left field and he's the most devious player we've ever heard of and we've ever seen. And he's got a sneaky trick up his sleeve and is just going to go after Rob. I don't know. I don't see Eric doing that, and that's why Rob picked him, because I don't think Rob thinks that Eric has it in him, but Rob knows he has it in himself to backstab Eric. I mean, it's church now for Rob, right? He's winning this game. I'd be stunned if he didn't. So those are my thoughts for today. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll be back next Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern, with a recap of episodes 7 through 9 of Love is Blind. That'll be on my YouTube channel. And then on Friday, again, we're back here with episode 10 recap. We'll see if my thought process is played out, that I have to believe they go after Natalie and Natalie's murdered. That makes the most sense. Keep the two who got 2 votes at the last round table and keep Kristen because she is suspecting Eric. Seems rather easy to eliminate Natalie, but then again, what do I know? But thanks again, everybody, for tuning in here, joining me on this Friday. I appreciate it, and I will talk to you next week. See ya!